What if creation myths weren't just stories, but glimpses into the divine mind? Across continents and centuries, cultures have imagined the birth of the universe in strikingly similar ways. From the cosmic egg to the word that speaks worlds into being, these myths reflect more than human imagination. They echo a deeper truth. In this video, we explore how ancient creation stories might reveal the nature of God consciousness and the fabric of reality itself. Are these myths memories of a higher knowledge? Or are they the language through which the divine speaks? Let's journey into the mind of God. Since the dawn of consciousness, humanity has asked the same question in countless forms. Where did we come from? Every culture, every civilization has offered an answer, usually in the form of a myth. These creation stories are not merely fanciful tales of gods and monsters, but symbolic frameworks that encode deep spiritual, philosophical, and even cosmological insights. What if these myths, scattered across time and geography, are more than cultural artifacts? What if they are reflections, fractals, of something greater, the mind of God? This essay explores how creation myths may offer us glimpses into divine consciousness, the structure of reality, and humanity's place in the cosmos. Part 1. The Universality of the Creation Myth. From the Garden of Eden to the Dreamtime of Aboriginal Australia, creation stories permeate the human imagination. Strikingly, many of them follow similar patterns, despite originating in cultures with no historical contact. Consider these recurring motifs. The primordial chaos. Many myths begin with a void, darkness, or watery abyss, symbolizing the formless potential from which all emerges. The creative word or thought. In the Genesis account, God speaks the world into being. In Hinduism, Brahman dreams creation. In Egypt, the god Ptah creates through speech. Separation and order. Light is separated from darkness, sky from earth, water from land. Creation as an act of divine ordering. Birth or emergence. In several traditions, the cosmos is born from a cosmic egg or emerges from a sacred womb, suggesting that creation is an organic, life-giving process. Sacrifice and death. In Norse and Babylonian myths, the body of a slain primordial being becomes the universe. Creation requires destruction, a transformation of chaos into cosmos. These archetypes are not accidental. They may reflect the structure of consciousness itself, or even the blueprint of reality as encoded in the mind of the divine. Part 2. Myth as a mirror of divine intelligence. Religions often separate myth from doctrine, seeing the former as metaphor and the latter as revealed truth. But what if myth is a language through which divine consciousness expresses itself? Carl Jung and Joseph Campbell viewed myths as expressions of the collective unconscious, universal truths emerging from the deepest layers of the psyche. These patterns or archetypes speak to the spiritual DNA of humanity. They are not mere symbols, but vehicles of meaning that reveal how consciousness perceives the divine and the cosmos. If we assume the existence of a divine intelligence, God, then myths may function as metaphysical downloads, intuitive messages imprinted onto the soul of humanity, expressing truths that rational language cannot contain. Creation, in this view, is not just an event in the past, but an ever-present process in which we participate. Myths become portals, windows into the mind of God. Part 3. Comparative creation myths and their deeper meanings. Let us look at a few major myths and analyze their deeper symbolic content. 1. Genesis, Judeo-Christian. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And God said, "Let there be light." Creation occurs through speech. The divine logos, word, brings order out of chaos. This aligns with the idea of a rational, intentional universe, created by an all-knowing consciousness. The 6 days reflect a structured unfolding, a divine algorithm of existence. Deeper meaning: creation as conscious intention, the Word as a vibration or frequency shaping matter, order as divine will. 2. Hindu cosmology. In the Rig Veda, creation is described as a mystery. Whence this creation has arisen, perhaps it formed itself, or perhaps it did not. The one who looks down on it in the highest heaven, only he knows, or perhaps he does not know. Brahman dreams the universe into being, and the universe cycles through creation, destruction, and rebirth kalpas. Vishnu sleeps on the cosmic ocean, and from his navel arises a lotus, from which Brahma emerges to create the world. Deeper meaning: creation as an act of dreaming or imagination. The divine is not separate from the cosmos, but immanent within it. Reality is cyclical, not linear. 3. Maori creation myth. In Maori tradition, the world began in darkness, Te Kore, the void, and Te Pa, the night. Sky Father, Rungi, and Earth Mother, Papa, were locked in an eternal embrace, their children trapped in the darkness. The gods pushed their parents apart, letting light into the world. Creation is liberation. Deeper meaning: creation as separation for the sake of awareness. Light comes from struggle. Growth requires individuation. 4. Dogon of Mali. The Dogon speak of Amma, the supreme god, who created the world from a cosmic egg. Amma planted a seed that exploded in 4 directions, representing matter, life, spirit, and time. The Namo, divine twin beings, brought order through speech and sacrifice. Deeper meaning: creation through vibration and sacrifice. The world is a harmonized multiplicity, seeded by divine unity. Part 4. The Mind of God, a philosophical bridge. The philosopher Spinoza spoke of Deus sive natura, God or nature. In this view, the laws of physics are not separate from divine will. They are its expression. The Logos of the Stoics, the Tao of the East, and the Word in the Gospel of John all suggest the same, that the divine is structured consciousness. What if creation myths are attempts to articulate that structure? Perhaps the mind of God is not simply a metaphor, but the actual blueprint from which reality flows, expressed symbolically in myth, but mathematically in science. Einstein once said, "I want to know God's thoughts. The rest are details." Myths, then, are poetic renditions of those thoughts. Part 5. Myths as sacred code. Creation myths can also be seen as metaphysical code, guiding how we relate to existence, the divine, and ourselves. Each myth encodes not only the origin of the world, but the origin of meaning. The Genesis story instructs us that our words shape reality. We are co-creators. The Hindu myths teach us that the world is dreamlike and subject to cycles. What arises will pass. The Aboriginal Dreamtime reveals that creation is ongoing. Reality is continually sung into being. The Norse myth of Ymir reminds us that even destruction has creative power. Each myth offers a lens through which we see not only God, but our role in the divine drama. Part 6. Modern Echoes of Ancient Truths. Today, science explores what ancient myth intuited. The Big Bang Theory, the idea of a singularity exploding into space and time, echoes the cosmic egg of many traditions. Quantum physics shows us that consciousness may play a role in shaping reality, echoing myths where thought or speech creates the world. Even simulations and multiverse theories sound mythic. The idea that reality could be a construct or illusion recalls Hindu Maya or Plato's cave. Rather than replacing myth, science may be circling back to it, offering new metaphors for old truths. Part 7. Why it matters. In a world of increasing noise and disconnection, Creation myths remind us of something essential. We are not accidents. We are part of a vast, meaningful whole. Whether you believe in God, the Tao, the quantum field, or some other source, these stories connect us to the idea that existence is sacred. More importantly, they position humanity not just as observers, but participants in creation. Every action, every word, every thought ripples outward, shaping the world. If we take the idea of the mind of God seriously, then our myths are the dreams of that mind, and we, each of us, are its unfolding imagination. The stories behind the stars. In a world saturated with information and data, myth often seems outdated, charming but irrelevant. Yet myths endure. They linger not just in ancient texts, but in our subconscious, in dreams, rituals, art, and imagination. Among the most enduring are creation myths, tales of how the universe began, how light emerged from darkness, how humans came to be. But these myths do not aim to explain in the scientific sense. They are not primitive cosmologies to be discarded as our instruments grow more precise. Rather, they are spiritual technologies, expressions of why reality exists and how we should live in it. Creation myths are more than stories. They are memories, not just of cultural identity, but of a deep, often hidden awareness of consciousness itself. They echo a time when the sacred was inseparable from the real, when the act of creation was understood not as mechanical, but as mystical. In this exploration, we journey into the heart of myth, not as fiction, but as a remembering of the soul of the cosmos and of the divine mind in which both reside. What is myth? A myth is not a lie, nor is it simply an ancient attempt at science. A myth is a symbolic narrative, often rooted in ritual, that expresses the foundational beliefs of a culture. It answers the deepest questions. Who are we? Where did we come from? Why are we here? Joseph Campbell famously defined myths as public dreams, and dreams as private myths. Carl Jung saw myth as the collective expression of the archetypes, primordial forms embedded in the unconscious psyche of humanity. In this sense, myth functions much like memory. It stores truth, but not in literal or linear form. Instead, it encodes truth in metaphor, symbol, and story. Myth remembers what language struggles to say directly. Creation myths, in particular, do something profound. They link the origins of the cosmos to the origins of meaning. They don't just recall what happened. They reveal why anything matters at all. 2. Creation as consciousness unfolding. In many traditions, the universe begins not with a bang, but with a word, a thought, or a vibration. This is not mere poetry. It reflects a deeper intuition that consciousness precedes material form. The Word as the first cause. In the beginning was the Word, states the Gospel of John. Similarly, Hindu cosmology teaches that Om, the primal sound, resonated through the void, shaping existence. Egyptian, Mayan, and African traditions echo this theme, that the divine speaks, sings, or breathes the world into being. This idea, that creation is spoken or thought into existence, suggests that reality is not merely physical but intentional. It emerges not from randomness, but from a conscious act, the dreaming of the world. In Aboriginal Australian cosmology, the dreamtime is both a mythic past and an eternal now. The world was, and still is, dreamed into form by ancestral beings. Creation is continuous, sustained by story, ritual, and consciousness. In Hinduism, the god Vishnu sleeps upon the cosmic ocean. From his dreaming emerges Brahma, the creator. Creation is the divine imagination made manifest. These myths propose a radical idea, that the universe is not an object, but an unfolding mind. What we call reality, may be consciousness dreaming itself into matter. 3. The mind of God and the mirror of myth. If the cosmos arises from divine thought, then creation myths may function as reflections of that thought, fragments of divine memory filtered through human language. What modern science calls the laws of nature, myth expresses as archetypal actions. Light dividing from darkness, chaos ordered by a creative being, life springing from sacrifice or song. Both myth and science, in their own ways, ask, what is the structure of reality? But where science focuses on mechanism, myth focuses on meaning. It concerns itself with the inner architecture, the why behind the how. And at the center of mythic meaning is consciousness. If we dare to imagine a universe in which the divine mind is not separate from creation, but immanent within it, then myths are not stories about God. They are the voice of God, speaking through culture, memory, and the deep currents of collective soul. 4. Memory before time. Creation myths as echoes of ancient knowing. Many indigenous cultures believe that myth is not made up, but remembered. The Zulus say the stars are the bones of the first people. The Dogon of Mali preserve astronomical knowledge through their creation myth of the Namo, knowledge that modern science only confirms centuries later. Some theorists suggest that myths may encode lost histories, cosmic events, or ancient technologies. Whether or not one accepts this literally, the point remains. Myths often carry a form of ancestral memory, emotional, symbolic, and intuitive. Creation myths, then, may be echoes not only of divine intention, but of humanity's earliest awareness, when consciousness first awoke to itself and asked, "What is this? What am I?" V. Creation myths across cultures. Common themes, common consciousness. Despite vast differences in geography and language, creation myths from around the world share striking similarities. Primordial chaos or void. Before creation, there is often a formless state, darkness, water, emptiness. This chaos represents undivided potential, a womb of being. Consciousness emerges as a spark of order within it. Separation and distinction. Creation often involves dividing things, light from dark, sky from earth, water from land. This reflects how awareness differentiates to perceive. Consciousness requires contrast, sacrifice, or transformation. Many myths speak of a god or primordial being who is killed or dismembered, their body becoming the world. Ymir in Norse myth, Tiamat in Babylonian lore. Life is born through transformation, even death. Cosmic sound or word. As noted earlier, sound and speech often play a central role. Creation is not silent, it vibrates. This aligns with modern physics' view that energy and frequency underlie all matter. The divine-human connection. Often, humans are made from divine substance, clay and breath, blood and dust. Our origin is both earthly and sacred. We are, in myth, consciousness embodied. These shared elements suggest a universal pattern. Perhaps myth does not emerge from culture alone, but from consciousness itself, a deep intuitive knowing, encoded in different languages and forms. 6. The inner creation. Myth as personal awakening. Creation myths are not only cosmic, they are psychological and spiritual. They map not just the birth of the universe, but the awakening of the self. In Jungian terms, the chaos of pre-creation reflects the unconscious. The act of creation mirrors individuation, the process of becoming a whole self. The separation of light and dark echoes the confrontation with our own shadow. Every human life reenacts the mythic arc of creation, from formlessness to form, from confusion to clarity, from silence to song. We are myth in motion. When we read these stories, we don't just learn about gods. We recognize ourselves. 7. Creation is not over. One of the most profound insights hidden in myth is that creation is ongoing. The world was not just created, it is being created. In Aboriginal traditions, the ancestral beings still sing the land into being. In Hinduism, the universe cycles endlessly through birth, death, and rebirth. Even in the Bible, God's Spirit hovers continually over the waters of creation. In modern physics, the universe is not static, but expanding. Quantum particles flicker into and out of existence. Time itself may be emergent. What if creation is a verb, not a noun? What if consciousness is still unfolding reality, moment by moment, through our thoughts, words, and actions? Then creation myth becomes not just memory, but mission. 8. Living the myth, becoming co-creators. If creation is consciousness in motion, then we are not just bystanders. We are participants, co-creators in the divine unfolding. The Genesis story says humans were made in the image of God, a phrase that has sparked centuries of debate. But what if that image is not physical, but creative? We speak, we imagine, we remember, we dream. Like the creator gods of old, we shape reality with our thoughts and stories. To live mythically is not to escape into fantasy, but to awaken to meaning. It is to remember that every choice ripples into the fabric of being. To live mythically is to remember that creation is not finished, and that the mind of God is still dreaming through us. Remembering the sacred story. In the end, creation myths are not about how the universe began in a laboratory sense. They are about why it began and what that means for us. They are not obsolete fictions, but sacred memories, encoded in story, song, and symbol. They point not to the stars alone, but to the divine consciousness behind them and within us. To study them is to remember who we are. To live them is to awaken to the mystery. Creation, in its truest form, is consciousness remembering itself. And the myth lives on, not in books alone, but in breath, in being, in the sacred unfolding of each moment. Creation myths are more than distant echoes. They are reflections of humanity's deepest questions and our longing to understand the divine. Whether symbolic, spiritual, or historical, these stories offer profound insight into the mysteries of existence and the possible mind of God. As we peel back the layers of myth, we glimpse a truth that transcends time and culture, that creation is not just an event, but an ongoing revelation. If this journey sparked something in you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more hidden wisdom and ancient truths. Until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep awakening.